Hello all, good afternoon all. Today we are going to discuss about the model answer for APPSC Group 1 mains exam. Let's discuss. See, the first question is, while agriculture employs a significant portion of the Indian workforce, its contribution to the GDP remains disproportionately low. Analyze the structural bottlenecks causing low growth rates in Indian agriculture. The structural bottlenecks. See, in any question, when we are attempting the mains, the question has to be deconstructed. The deconstruction. The question should be deconstruction. That means it must be broken into multiple parts, and each part should address each demand of the question. So what are the demands of the question here? See, the agricultural employs significant portion of the Indian workforce. The GDP remains disproportionately low. Why? Why it is low? The structural bottlenecks causing low growth rates. It's a third one. So this is the deconstruction or break up into the multiple parts of a mains question. Yeah. So the question is now, let's start with what is structural bottlenecks. See, there are two kinds of bottlenecks we face in Indian agriculture. One is structural bottlenecks and the second is operational bottlenecks. Structural bottlenecks means what are the long-term problems that rooted in the Indian agricultural ecosystem that is affecting the long-term output, the final output of an Indian agriculture, maybe the productivity or maybe the income of a farmer. So what are the factors that are affecting the Indian agricultural output? So those comes under the structural bottlenecks. See, let's start with the introduction. The introduction, see, in APPSC Group 1, we get the 3 pages. It is 10 marks of question. We can go for, liberally we can use 200 to 250 words for a mains answer. For that reason, you can use 30 to 50 words for the introduction. Like, address the demand. What is the issue of the structural paradox? That it is employing the largest workforce at the same time, but its GDP contribution is very less comparatively with other sectors. So that must be 45 to 50% of the country's workforce. Okay. However, it contributes only 15 to 18% of India's GVA. So this is the structural paradox. We should explain it in an intro. Then immediately, let's get into the reasons for low GDP contribution despite high employment, because of disguised unemployment, suboptimal value addition, asymmetric sector growth, subsistence-driven farming, and low per capita labor productivity. These are the 5 points we should mention in our, what are the reasons for low GDP contribution? Disguised unemployment. We have a lot of workforce. In India, we have a lot of workforce, but the workforce was properly not channelized into the sectors according to their skills. The first gap, they have the skill gap. The skill gap is an issue. That's why we are not channelizing those people, those workforce strength into the other sector, and we are losing the revenue. So those people are engaging in the same agricultural landscape they have, and their productivity is not finally getting into the counted. They are not adding any extra value. So that's called disguised unemployment. Next, let's get into the crux of the question now. Structural bottlenecks causing low growth rates. What are structural bottlenecks? Let's see. Severe land fragmentation. One of the structural bottlenecks that was existed in Indian agriculture. Very less land parcels. Average, it may be 2.5 acres only for each family. So that's called per capita agriculture. And monsoon dependency and climate risk is too much. And distorted supply chains and APMCs. Stagnant capital formation. Degraded input quality. These are the structural bottlenecks. Let's discuss here one of the extra points here. What are the structural reforms that Indian agriculture has witnessed in its history? The structural reforms we have brought. What are the structural reforms? In 1940s, 1947 and 1950s, we have brought certain kind of reforms like abolition of intermediaries. Like right-wari system, mansabdari system, jamindari system, we have abolished it. And next, we have brought tenancy reforms. In one of the structural reforms. And what are the other structural reforms we have brought in digital ecosystem? We have digitalized our land records. So one of that is also comes under a structural reform. And also the financial issues that Indian agriculture is facing is very much. So to address the financial challenges that Indian farmers are facing, we have brought various structural reforms like lead bank scheme, LBS, that was initiated by RBI. Lead bank schemes, what? The establishment of the credit lending banks, the small banks was established in rural areas. So those LBS, lead banks, will lend the credits to the farmers of rural areas. And next, what are the measures taken to address the challenges? We have direct income support schemes under PM Kisan. In state level, we have brought Raitu Bandhu and these kinds of Raitu Bima, and also we have brought the schemes such as loan waiver scheme. So that is also one of the direct income support was given to the farmer. The irrigation expansion. So see, when we are writing about these points, we have to at least address one state level example. Let's say the Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project. These comes under the irrigation expansion, irrigation reforms. One of the structural reform we have brought here. That must be a measure. Next, digital market integration such as eNAM and the digital market like Me Bhumi and Dharani. These programs, these initiatives comes under digital market integration. And financial and input safety nets, post-harvest infrastructure. What is the way forward? We must address, give a way forward. When you are writing the challenges, we also tell to the evaluator as a bureaucrat, we have to tell them what are the measures we should take to address these structural challenges. Like promote farmer-friendly producer organization, accelerate off-farm employment, scale up smart farming, diversify into high-value commodities, enhance and public capital expenditure on infrastructure such as cold storages and these things. So and you have to sum up the entire answer with the conclusion in 30 to 50 words. So that's the first model answer.